Hey there, it's your pal, the Amazing Fleck, here to talk about week 3 as a new father. So, I've had my newborn daughter inside the house now for a little over a week now, and it's been absolutely life changing. It's amazing how fast your priorities can change and how quickly your life goals can just shift in a beautiful way, too. When you have the arrival of a new child, or at least with my experience with it. I know we all have different experiences when it comes to what our goals are, what motivates us, what changes us, and what touches us in one way or the other. And for the arrival of my baby daughter, I have to say everything's changed in the best ways possible. There's a new sense of wonder every day when I wake up in the morning. What the adventure is going to be, what's going to happen that day, and how we're going to approach it, and how we're going to get through the day as a family. And it's been wonderful having support from the family as well as having a direction we're all working towards together for the safety and well-being of the new addition to the family, our wonderful, beautiful daughter. And it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. There's a lot of crying. There's a lot of waking up. I think that we are particularly lucky with our daughter. Our daughter is very quiet, I think, and very reasonable, and only really wakes up when they really need something. Sometimes all we need is a little bit of comforting. Sometimes all we need is a little bit of attention, and sometimes we need a diaper changed or we need a little bit of food. And so I think those are all reasonable reasons to be crying and getting our attention at night. And it's only been 3 weeks. Our baby is not even 1 month old yet, so it's really interesting to see and observe and wonder what must be going on inside their minds and how they're picking up on forming their frame of reality, creating their worldview, and putting opinions and ideas and previous experience on their vision of what they see and what they hear, creating their own biases, more or less, and their own prejudices and their own worldview, what they like, what they don't like, and so on and so forth. It's gonna be amazing to witness all that unfolding. And so far, just witnessing what has been happening since they've been born on the 28th has been quite profound. Um, it reminds me of the eight circuits of consciousness that was proposed by Robert Anton Wilson, who consolidated a number of other different psychoanalysis philosophers and other different renowned individuals who came up with some sort of classification of human consciousness. If that makes any sense, maybe that's a mouthful, but Robert Anton Wilson came up and consolidated a lot of these things into eightfold circuits of consciousness, which might have been adapted by Timothy Leary's interpersonal grid, or something from that era of Timothy Leary's contributions to how the mind works, if that makes any sense too. So the eight circuits of consciousness. The first circuit is the oral biosurvival circuit, the urge to suckle and to get food, the sustenance, the mouth. That's the first circuit that's proposed in this model of what gets turned on in an individual after they're born. Their first instinct is that they are cold, they just get out. They're out of the womb, all of a sudden there's cold when they first get the touch of air instead of the fluid of that perfect temperature, whatever the elements might be. And then the urge to survive is sustained by being able to latch their lips onto a nipple or get some sort of sustenance, a bottle of something, in order to get them to survive. So the first circuit, oral biosurvival circuit, is triggered at that age. And there's this whole idea of things need to go in here, and if things go in here, everything else feels okay. And there's also the ability to express themselves through their voice. So the mouth's a very profound thing, and that's why it's such an impactful first of the eight circuits. Now the second circuit is called the anal territorial circuit. Now this is a paraphrase, but this happens around the terrible twos, when the child gets around 2 years of age, give or take a year. It can be 1 year to 3 years, when they start getting up and walking around more often, and when they start recognizing there's a pecking order in the family, and they start saying the word no a lot more often, and being disagreeable and protesting and forming their own opinion, and trying to tell the adults what's what. The terrible twos, that's the anal territorial circuit, and that's the realization of the output of the human body, which is the butt and the waste that comes from it, excrement, and what it can symbolize, not just for humans, but mostly if you take a look at the mammal kingdom, which we are a part of. We are mammals, whether we like to admit it or not. We are part of the animal kingdom, and I agree with many of us that we are considerably different than animals, us humans, but it's important to recognize that we are indeed mammals and we do share many interesting traits with them. And it's up to debate whether or not that's one of the traits, but hey, take it or leave it, and you decide for yourself. So with the second territorial circuit, anal territorial circuit, triggered by the terrible twos, a recognition of the feces and the output of being particular about things and asserting themselves and drawing their line in the sand, so to speak. The whole territorial thing that dogs do, or cats do even sometimes too, when they leave their feces in different places to leave a message. So that's around that age. The terrible twos is a good time for the second circuit, anal territorial, to be triggered or imprinted. Imprint is a very interesting word. Imprint implies some of your first experiences with that particular circuit of consciousness. So, a quick review: the oral biosurvival circuit, triggered at birth; the anal territorial circuit, around terrible twos, when they start realizing the output of their body, as well as the pecking order in the family and order structure and so on. And then the third circuit that gets triggered is the neurosemantic circuit, is one way you can call it. It refers to the ability for the mind to pick out symbols, colors, shapes, words, and things like that. You'll learn at a very young age that a red octagon with white squiggles on it means to stop the car. You'll learn that after a while, and you'll hear adults saying stop and say stop sign and point at it, and they'll eventually teach the child how to say stop sign and recognize what that is. So those are all symbols. Those all symbolize things. A red light tells us to stop. We just see the color, and we have this, especially in a stop and go situation. If you're traveling and commute and you see red, you think stop. It's time for the stopping to happen so the other party can go through the thoroughfare. So that's interesting. These symbols we learn, including verbal language too and sound. So the written language, all these, it's easy to take these symbols for granted. They're all symbols that symbolize something else that can build on themselves. And letters are amazing symbols, because you can take a letter which just has a phonetic noise to it that can change depending on what other letters you put around it. And you can spell out words, and those words can symbolize some other concept that can trigger something inside someone's mind and affect their consciousness. Quite profound. So the third circuit is triggered once the baby or the individual starts to recognize the symbols have meaning, that words have meaning. It's not just crying. There's words you can put together that will have a desired effect. Like you can say milk, or you can say cookie, and you can start getting that thing. So that's triggered, and it is imprinted once language, shapes, colors, and other symbols are recognized. You can recognize the difference of a color and how it makes you feel, or how something looks. But to understand the meaning behind the symbol is what really triggers and makes the neurosemantic circuit really pop. Now, the fourth circuit is the sociosexual circuit, and that one is more or less triggered at the first mating experience, and most definitely imprinted at the first mating experience, or perhaps even the first climax experience, whether it's with a partner or on their own. And as far as the range of sexuality goes out there in the world today, as the internet can educate any one of us, it's very vast and very wide, and there's many different preferences, and it's a complex beast that I'm not even bother to get into, because frankly it's none of my business, and I'm pretty personal when it comes to my sexuality too. So be that as it may, the fourth circuit is the sociosexual circuit, and that's triggered when the first mating experience or romantic bonding experiences with a partner in some way, whether it's physical or emotional attachments. So yeah, the reproductive elements of the romantic attachment specifically is what really triggers the sociosexual circuit, and of course our reproductive organs as well. Those play a big role in that fourth circuit of consciousness. So that's a lot when it comes to talking about my newborn daughter in the third week of her being alive and going into the circuits of consciousness. But it comes back around because I've been interested in these circuits of consciousness, as well as the human psyche and how people perceive reality and how they build their own reality, for a long time. And even before I understood how to communicate that, I've been interested in that concept, if that makes any sense. Been interested in how minds work, and whether or not other minds work like mine, and what other people value, and what their belief systems are, and what their superstitions are, what affects them. Because I know that how things have affected me over the years, and how I've grown over the years, and learned differently about how to behave and how to function on a day-to-day basis. And to see that, to bring it back once again full circle back to the newborn baby in the house here, is to be able to watch that in someone else as they develop and grow up over the years, is truly a gift, a precious, precious gift. Not just because it's the next of who I am, mixed with my wonderful, beautiful girlfriend. We made this beautiful child together, but also because of, I mean, that's precious in itself, but it's also precious for the simple fact that it might give incredible insight into the nature of oneself and of human nature in general to witness it firsthand. Um, I think we're a lot more alike than we think we are and that we like to admit. And I know that we have many differences at the same time, but all in all, I mean, human beings, we got a lot more in common than I like to think we do. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm a busy dad these days, and it's been a interesting period of adjustment with the family life here, but such a wonderful change and shift in my focus in life. And I wouldn't ask for anything different at this point. It's been a wonderful adventure so far, and I was able to spend a good amount of time with my daughter earlier today as her mother went out into the world and met up with one of her clients. My girlfriend is an amazing life coach and a spiritual life coach and has helped out many different people out there, many different ladies particularly with their spirituality and with their own path in life and what they're trying to accomplish. And she works very well with a number of ladies who are interested in Wildfire Serenity. Forgive me, Wildfire Serenity is the name of my girlfriend's company. And yeah, so while she was out there meeting with one of her clients, I was here with our child and spending some time with her. And I was able to bottle feed her for the first time, which was really neat. It gave me the opportunity to be able to feed her. It's something I can't do as we are breastfeeding. And breastfeeding is a very, very, very tough job. Having to just be on call for this crying baby and have them latch onto you and have your body hopefully produce a beverage that they can enjoy and thrive on. It's something else. It's very interesting, but we managed to pump some out, and we had some in the freezer, and I was able to bring it back to a thawed, nice warm temperature and bottle feed for the first time, and she had no problem taking the bottle and drinking all 3 ounces of that milk down, nice and good. So that's my daughter. That's my daughter, folks. Anyhow, I've talked your ear off long enough. Thanks very much for tuning in and checking out on me. I, once again, am the Amazing Fleck. I post about way too many things. I'm not just some guy talking to his camera phone and posting once a week. But I did make a video every single day of last year of 2021 as kind of a challenge to see what I can do and whether or not I could actually do it. First-time content creator. And for better or for worse, I made a video every single day for the year of 2021. And you can check it out if you click in my playlist section. And one day a week for that year. There's 52 videos for circus and flow arts where I teach you how to teach yourself how to contact juggle, how to tightrope walk a little bit. I got to make better ones on tightrope walking, but I do teach you in depth how to juggle, how to do contact sticks play like devil sticks or crystal sticks, hitting the sticks back and forth, crystal balls like David Bowie did in the movie The Labyrinth. Check out my playlist section. Click on the circus and flow arts tutorials or the contact juggling tutorials link and check out all the different categories. I post about so many different things. I'm a wild card. You never know what you're going to get. It's overwhelming. And that's all I got for you here today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check in for the next video where I give you an update about 4 weeks as a new dad and how it's affected me. And hopefully I can provide some value out there for new fathers all out there or anyone else who's interested in watching the content that the Amazing Fleck has to produce these days in this phase of his life. More exciting things to come in the future. Remember to be the best version of yourself you possibly can, folks. Just be the best version of you and make better choices. I think we can all do that. Hopefully you see me in the next video, folks. Peace.